long time no see. It's been about 3 weeks since I filmed anything, so I think we're going to remedy that today because the clock is ticking to the Silver Summit, and this is the car we're going to take, and I got a lot of stuff I need to do on this thing. So without further ado, let's just kind of dive into it. So if this is your first time here or first time checking out one of my videos, this is my first car. I bought this thing in 2008. It was M10 powered at the time. Didn't start that M42 swap until 2013 or 2014, I think. Didn't get it finished until 2015. Yeah, today's video, there's quite a few things that I should have tidied up a long time ago that I've kind of been ignoring. I really haven't done a full service on this car for a while. It's a little bit embarrassing, but you know what? I'm doing it now, so let's kind of dive into it. I think the first thing we're going to do, since if you'll remember from the last video, I've got a little bit of injector leakage going on from the injector seals when it gets hot, which obviously fuel leaking out of the engine anywhere is a bad thing. So we're going to take care of that. I'm starting to pile up parts all over the place that need to be vapor blasted. I know I've been talking about that since the beginning. We'll get there eventually. The garage at home is kind of cluttered right now, so my plan is to tackle that clutter this weekend and get to blasting, because I can't just keep talking about it over and over and over. I need to actually do it on the channel. So we'll go ahead and change up the camera position a little bit and get to taking this apart. Thanks for being here, and let's get to it. First things first, to keep everything organized, I got another parts bin. This is a little different than the one from Harbor Freight, but it works just the same. Little compartments, and I brought a little sticky note stack from work and a pen so we can kind of label everything as we put it in there. I almost forgot my gloves. I'm getting my hands dirty. I'm a foo-foo mechanic. It's clean hands, little man baby hands. So the TII project kind of went to the wayside a little bit because I got a little overwhelmed with how much work was actually required to get that thing going. Obviously, I was originally under the assumption that I could just reseal what I had and get it back on the road, but now that's kind of turning into a full race engine build, which I didn't really have the budget set aside for that. So it'll still get done, but this is easy. I have the parts for this. I can get this put back together a lot quicker than that one. In order to keep progress moving forward and not get overwhelmed and kind of caught up in the same mental space that I've been in for the past several years, we're just gonna work on this for now. Whoopsies. There we go. It's actually kind of really clean in there, so that, well, I say that and then I see that. It was definitely sucking in some dirt. Shit. Yeah, this is a car from 1979. It's got a freaking purge valve from vapor canister, because be kind to the environment, man. It's cool to be into old cars. Like, I even put a cat on this when I put the swap together because it makes zero difference in the amount of power that it makes. And even actually probably runs better because it's got back pressure from the cat. And it's good for the environment. Like, be a responsible classic car enthusiast. Make it run as clean as you can, because it's probably gonna make more power that way. This is a cool camera angle, by the way. I have the tripod like clamped to the hood. It's kind of ghetto, but I think like the overview shot of the engine bay while I'm doing stuff, it's pretty slick. I kind of did this swap kind of ass backwards. I mean, I did it from a structure standpoint, I think, in the right direction. I mounted the drive shaft, mounted the trans, and I didn't modify the drive shaft at all. It's just an E30 318 drive shaft. So that, yes, I love it when it hits the ground. But I had to change where the center support mounted in the tunnel a little bit. But the way that I set it up, obviously, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a gigantic gap between radiator and engine. And it's like this in an E30 as well, but I feel like at the firewall, you have a larger gap on an E30. It's not tucked. I mean, I couldn't even get a wrench between the intake manifold and the firewall for the cowl and all that stuff. So it's really tight. It's almost like the engine is sitting. If you want to get technical, this might actually be almost a mid-engine car. because of how far back the engine is sitting. And I didn't do that intentionally. That's just kind of where, after I put the transmission in to set my depth there, that's where the engine was sitting, and makes it handle really well, but everything is very tight on the firewall, and it makes it kind of a pain in the butt to work on sometimes. But if I can get that little 10 mil bastard undone, we'll be in good shape, and I can pull this upper intake manifold off with no problems. One thing I have noticed over the past couple of weeks is that the E21 seems to be a popular search term, because I've gotten, like, the last E21 video has almost like 80 views on it, and that was only posted, you know, while I was on my trip, so 2 weeks ago. That's freaking awesome. So let's keep the E21 momentum going, because I like working on this car. And there's a lot of stuff that I need to do to it. But big thanks to the people who've been watching that after just doing a YouTube search, because that's freaking awesome. Okay, well, the last one is that little 10 mil. Don't forget about your throttle cable. You can do it. Oh yeah! Freaking success. Cut my arm on this guy. I don't care, because we broke the bolt loose. Hell yeah! Okay, grab the mallet. Wait. Yes, grab the mallet. Funk. I almost forgetted that. 17? Yeah, boy. Here we go. Ouch. Dang. That hurts. All right, off we go. Oh no, I broke my vacuum line. When we get the lower intake manifold off, we'll see just how much crap is on the valves. Hooray. Oh, it is kind of nice to work on this car though. I love this car. This engine suits this chassis so well. It's rev happy. I know once I fix this stupid problem. Like, I know there's a problem with it because at my job I worked on a 318 Ti, which is pretty much the same engine. I think that was a 1.9, and the injection, like the manifold, is a little different, but other than that, they're pretty much the same engine, and that thing scooted compared to this car. And the 318 Ti probably weighs 600 pounds more than this car does, and that shouldn't be the case. 600 pounds is a lot of weight, and the fact that it felt faster than this thing leads me to believe that there may be a problem with this engine. So I know it, or at least I hope it's not a mechanical issue. I've done compression tests since I put the engine together just to see if maybe there was something weird going on. I had the head rebuilt, and that was done by a reputable shop, so I know, I'm hoping that that wasn't the problem, or is a problem. I know the timing is correct because I put the engine together several times using the factory tools and the factory lock plates for everything. So the only thing that can be a problem is the thermostat, or something else, which we'll discover eventually. But for the time being, man, I really need to replace those clamps. Those are some janky clamps. Cutting into a fuel hose. You don't want shit cutting into your hose, man. How you get yourself a fire? You don't want a fire. The more that I knock around and move stuff around, the amount of socket's gonna be stuck in here forever. You know. Oh, piddle, piddle, piddle. You can definitely tell it was leaking a lot more fuel than I thought it was. Let me move the camera and I'll show you guys what we're dealing with here. So now we can get an idea of just how much fuel has been leaking. All of that dust that's built up here, all of this, all of this, all of that is all fuel residue. That has really been piddling a lot of fuel. But what makes me really happy is that, yes, there is some schmutz inside the runners, but the valves themselves are actually very clean because port injection is doing its job and cleaning the valves. So the valves still look beautiful. I am gonna have to wipe those ports out with a microfiber and brake parts cleaner. I think for the time being, that's probably gonna do it for this video. Actually, you know what? I'm probably gonna try and figure out a place to put this guy. because obviously zip tied to a wiring harness is not the correct way to install a relay block. And I'd really like to move the fuel pump main fuse to somewhere that is a lot less ghetto than that as well. Alright, I think I've successfully rigged the camera and my light in a proper position to make this work. Get the last of our non-California spec brake parts cleaner. Thanks, Governor. As many miles as this thing has on it, though, I'm actually pleasantly surprised at how clean all this stuff is. Could be a lot worse, and if it was a direct injected car, it probably would be a lot worse. So I work on like modern Audis and Volkswagens and Beamers, my day job, and one of those had 30,000 miles on it, and the people were following the 10 or 15,000 oil change intervals. It would be a lot grosser in there than this. So that's nice. Dropping shite down in there already. I think I might have to bring my vacuum down before I feel comfortable cleaning the rest of that stuff, because I really just don't want any of that crap getting down there. That's okay. We can start dicking around with this guy. And maybe trying to do something with these. I mean, he's functional as is, it just kind of looks like shit. And the work ethic and build quality that I've acquired working at the job that I've been at for the past 6 years, that is unacceptable. I don't want to associate my name with this car when it has stuff like that in it. I'm too good for this car, even though I built this car. So we'll work our way over here. Wow, such high quality mounting of the relay block. You do such great work, John. Wow. Same with this. I'm kind of running out of room here because I mounted the engine too close to the damn firewall. Shit! We'll figure it out though. Alright, well, I'm starting to remember why I kind of just left this where it is, because I don't really have a lot of room to mount it anywhere else. Alrighty. So that spiraled into a lot more than I was hoping for. Catch my drift. But yeah, I guess taking this apart and inspecting all of it, and maybe sourcing a used harness if this one's totally borked, is something that we just need to do. That got out of control really fast. But that's okay. I'm noticing a lot of stuff that would have either A, caught the car on fire, or B, left me stranded. And I guess it's a good thing that I'm doing this before we take this on a huge trip. So, just to kind of recap what we've done so far, we've taken apart pretty much all the ancillaries on the engine, pulled the entire wiring harness off, and now we're just sitting here with a pretty much naked long block. I guess in the next video, we're either going to do some vapor blasting finally, I'm hoping, or we'll do the injector seals on the manifold, blast the manifolds, and try and figure out if we can repair this wiring harness. I also noticed a lot of really bad things with the way I mounted the ECU under the dash. Just several things that aren't done skookum the way that I feel like they should be done now. So we're going to remedy that stuff along with taking care of the thermostat, which I hope is a 75 degree when I take this apart, and not an 88 like it's supposed to be, because that would really suck, because now I don't know where to say that the rich running problem is coming from. So, but I guess thank you all very much for hanging out in today's episode. Obviously this kind of spiraled a lot more than I was hoping for, but that's okay. This car is kind of being my main focus for now, with the addition of the vapor blasting that I need to do. So we'll either start knocking that stuff out next week or keep disassembling this car. One of these days we're going to put something back together. I promise you. It's not just John's take shit apart and not put it back together channel. So, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed your time here, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you. I love you. God. Idiot.